Most unique bundles on Amazon fail, and it's not because the products are bad. It's just because the seller has no idea what they are doing. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 tips with unique bundles. If you don't know who I am, my name's Ryan, and I started Amazon 12 months ago now. I've done over £230,000 in sales across started arbitrage. We've done private label, wholesale, and we do unique bundles as well. So just going to go through a bit of a list on kind of the top tips on unique bundles and kind of the strategy that I follow and kind of my concept around building unique bundles, and hopefully it can be some really good advice for yourself on what you can bundle and kind of the things to avoid and the things to follow. So the first one I have is start with demand and kind of not just a random out there idea. So quite a few people I know and have spoke to, they build a bundle and then they're looking for the keywords, whereas really you just want to flip it and you want to be finding the keywords and thinking, that's getting a lot of traffic, then building the bundle around that. So don't just go into Amazon searching bundle or with something or with bundle or bundle together or 2-pack. It's not what you want to do. You want to find the anchor product and build around it with valuable products, which leads us into our next point, which is you want items that are actually going to add genuine value, not just an extra item for the sake of throwing an extra item in. So you don't want to chuck in random cheap add-ons that just create no value. You want something that, if you've got a problem, your bundled item, so your anchor product, is actually made better with the bundled product, if that makes sense. So, for example, let's say you've got a tin of paint. The easy one for that is a paintbrush. If it's inside some masking tape, so you're not smudging all the edges. So that's a nice example of an easy bundle. It's paint, the brush, the masking tape. It's free product. So you don't just want to be throwing random products in which just kind of have no place in the bundle. You want what's the problem, and then you want to get the solution to that problem and kind of just create that all-in-one problem solver for the customer, so that they can just go onto Amazon, go onto Prime, make the order, and they've got everything. For example, going back to the paint, if they ordered the paint from Amazon, but if they don't have a paintbrush, right? So we'll just create a bit of a solution to the problem that they might have. I stay away from the 2-packs. I like products that give genuine value. I mean, when I first started, I used to sell a 3-pack of deep spray, and you're like, who's ordering? I mean, there was ordering 3 of them, but I just thought it's not really a value add. It was a 3-pack of a cold spray, and I just thought, who's ordering 3 of them at a time? But hey ho, but yeah, that to me isn't genuine value. It's just extra items. So yeah, if the extra items just don't improve the outcome, just remove them. So the masking tape, for example, with the paint bundle, I think it would help because it'll just stop you going on the edges. So it's, don't just shove something random in. Just trying to think of one off the top of my head, and I can't think, but I have seen some where you're like, that just has no place being in that bundle. It's just an extra product for the sake of the product. So I can't stress it enough. Just make sure it's a valuable bundle, and it's not just extra items for the sake of bundling it together and getting a bundle on. So the third big point is, obviously there is an IP risk. So you need to be, you can't just, going back to the paint, for example, or let's go to Nivea. You can't just bundle a Nivea with, just 2-pack Nivea and put it under as your own brand. You're running a huge risk there. Obviously, with unique bundles, there is that risk, but I do stay away from those huge brands. I focus on a set category and kind of, like I said, I'm always creating this value. I'm not just leeching on to their sales. I'm trying to create value. So there is the IP risk. So what you need to do is you've got your anchor product, and then you're going to have another product at least with that. And what you're going to do with that other product is brand the product yourself. So let's say your brand's called Ryan, for example. So we've got the paint and we've got Ryan's paintbrush to go with it. So you've got your branded product alongside the anchor product. And you want to have the brand on that product. So you're going to need to register your trademark. Don't be using their trademark. Try and avoid as well using their trademark in your product listing, should I say, in your listing. So you don't want to be using, or I avoid it at least, is using the anchor brand. I try and avoid it in the listings. I have got a couple where they're in. But I do try and avoid it because you're just asking for trouble, in my opinion. Obviously, we are running a risk and we're playing by Amazon's rules. So I'm not going to hide the fact that, that we are running on that risk. That they can IP you at any point if they're really not happy with what you're doing. And they're probably just looking at you as a bit of a leech onto their brand. But the less that you're relying on them other brands, the longer that your bundle is actually going to survive. So again, try and avoid those huge brands. And you need to have your own product with those brands, in my opinion. And then fourth point is when you're creating a listing, you need your customers and kind of, I guess, Amazon themselves just to understand the logic behind the bundle. So the title, the bullet points, the images, the A+ content, it should clearly show what the bundle includes, why it's better together, and what problem is it solving. And if the value isn't obvious, then it's just probably not going to convert. So try and provide as much value to the customer. That is the secret to making a successful bundle. Does it make the customer's life easier? Does it make the product more useful to them? So we want to be pushing as much value onto the customer as possible, and we do that through the listing, through the title, bullet points I've just mentioned, the images, the A+ content. Provide as much value as possible with the product and the listing itself. Then we're going to go on to I wouldn't say the most important point, but it's very important. Want to build it so it's hard to copy. So my very first bundle I launched, I copied somebody and just launched. I just copied him, launched it. But the mistake is since I've launched, people are still coming onto it, and you're like, I'm just stuck. We're all bidding on the same keywords. I mean, it's still profitable. But anyone can kind of have access to those products. Whether they can get my price is another story, and that's where you can create even further value. So by building it so it's hard to copy, I guess as well, get a price that's hard to copy. So I know I'm probably getting the best price out was all on the product across the bundle. So just build it so it's hard to copy. So can you throw in as many different items so people don't want to copy? So it's like too much hard work to copy it. Can you get a custom product that nobody else can get, or branded product? So like, the paintbrush, make sure it's branded if possible. An instruction guide, so I include instructions on my packaging for one of the bundles. So can we include that? A bonus, I don't know. And then obviously the packaging needs to be key. Try and get a customized packaging if possible. And again, if someone can copy a bundle in a few minutes, they're probably going to, especially if they're hunting to launch bundles, because it's the in thing at the moment and it's what everyone wants to do. So just try and build a bit of a moat around your bundles if possible, and just make it difficult to copy. So we'll just recap on the 5 points, which is start with the demand. We're not following any ideas. Find the demand first, and then ideas come second. It's the same with your arbitrage. You just follow the demand, not your ideas and what you're attached to. So you want to see numbers already there. Add genuine value is the second point, not just extra items. So I'm trying to think of the one that I saw the other day. I'm sure it was like a baby bundle, and it's like maybe with some like cleaning gloves, and you're like, how does that go with that bundle? So the second point is add genuine value. Third point, do as much as possible to avoid the brand's attention. If you're bundling their products, just try and avoid that brand, and don't draw a risk to yourself. Make the products better, and bundle useful items. Fourth point is make the listing explain the why. So why does your bundle make sense for them to purchase? What problems does it solve? And does it make the product, the anchor product, better. And the final point was build it so it's so hard to copy. Not just anyone can jump onto it and copy it, or make it a bit of a ball ache, I guess, to copy, make it so people don't want to copy it. But yeah, that's my top 5 tips for unique bundles. I am going to be throwing more content out there on this. Hopefully that helps, and good luck with your launch.